having a great week. Welcome to Life with Angel channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to beat COVID if you're pregnant. So I went through it and I had a tough experience with it, but thankfully I was able to overcome it naturally. And baby is good, and now mama and baby hopefully have antibodies. Okay, so I have lots of thoughts about the coronavirus. This isn't necessarily where I'll dig into all my thinking about it, but one thing that it is a virus. It is affecting a lot of people. For some people, it has been deadly. For some people, it has been required hospitalization. And I don't believe it's going away. I think it's gonna be like the flu. But one thing I wanna encourage y'all is you don't need to have fear. As long as, I think the biggest thing we should do is focus on our immune systems and building our bodies stronger so that we don't have to fear any virus. So that's my philosophy behind it. But I do know some people have had severe losses, so I don't aim to discredit you or minimize what you've been through. But I do believe if we can focus, some people appear healthy on the outside, but we need to focus on the inside of our bodies. Someone could look great on the outside, but not necessarily be healthy on the inside. So that's just some little thoughts I have. But I actually am the only one in my family who had severe symptoms. I think it's probably because this little person here is taking a lot of my nutrients. That's my assumption. I don't know for sure, but I'm the only one that really suffered a lot. My husband had a few mild symptoms for a few days that he was able to work through. I'm the only one that had a pretty bad case. The kids were fine. The young adult that lives with me, she was fine. So it does affect different people in different ways, but I had almost all the symptoms. So I'm just gonna talk about what I did and what helped me. Another side note is I chose not to get tested. My family and I just don't want to be contact traced, and we don't want the government to have our medical information. So we just chose to, we just self-diagnosed based on all the symptoms, and we chose to hang out of the house a couple weeks just to be sensitive toward others. But we do believe that you can live without fear, and you definitely just focus on your immune system during this time, but don't live in fear. All right, so I had some really achy joints. I, for the first time, had sensitivity and compassion towards those who have arthritis, because I'm assuming I had an experience of what that might feel like. It was very painful, especially right in here and on my leg. It was those trigger point areas. It was hard to sleep. It was very painful. So what helped me in that regards, because I didn't use anything that wasn't natural, just especially while I'm pregnant, I try to be sensitive. I used Epsom salts. This is one brand that you can get. You want to get one that doesn't have fillers added into it or synthetic things that make it synthetic fragrances. You want to avoid that. So this one is fragrance free. I would get a ton of these. I think I went through like three bags of these while I was sick. So I got like, I don't even know. I actually didn't even measure. I just got a ton and put it in a bath as warm as I could stand it. I usually didn't fill the water past, I usually kind of let the water come up this high. That way my baby wasn't getting all the hot water. But I would just sit in the hot bath for as long as I could stand it, as hot as I could stand it without hurting the baby. And I just put a ton of this stuff in there. Probably 3 cups per bath. I just went through it like crazy. I took a lot of baths, and that was really helpful in my joint pain. These are some other things. These are multiple brands that I've found that are good. I'm gonna let you take a look at these links that I'll provide. This is the doTERRA brand. It has essential oils in it. This brand here is called Muscle Care Professional Therapy, and this one has hemp added to it. These are all really great with muscle pain. This one is another good one that I like, and it comes, the unique thing about this is it's in a roller bottle, and so it doesn't get your hands greasy or messy, and it's easy to apply if you're by yourself and you don't have anyone to help you in those awkward places like your back. So these are good options that are safer than the typical painkiller
creams would be.
So supplement-wise, what David had me take since I'm pregnant, I took a lot. I took high dosages of probiotics because I took 3 of these a day, actually. One at breakfast, one at lunch, one at dinner. So it's a very high amount of probiotics. I took Super C. These are vitamin C capsules, and I took 2 at breakfast, 2 at lunch, 2 at dinner. I'm missing one. I already went through it and I didn't save the bottle. But I took a Zinc. Zinc I took 2 in the morning at breakfast, 2 at lunch, and 2 at dinner. And we'll have a picture of that on the website, or we'll pop one up here on the film for you. I took Turmeric. This is a turmeric complex. It's made by Paleo Valley. There's a couple of good brands of this. I think we have one on Dr. Jocker's store too. So we'll see about that. We'll post these links. This is one of the good brands of it. This is helping the body with inflammation of all types. So I took, again, 2 in the morning at breakfast, 2 at lunch, and 2 at dinner. And then vitamin D. This is in our opinion, the best form of it. It's vitamin D with vitamin K2. And I took 2 at breakfast, 2 at lunch, and 2 at dinner. So I was taking lots of good things to help my immune system. So all these nutrients helped in different ways. And obviously you want to eat a well-balanced diet and get nutrients from your food. But in our culture, sometimes it's hard to get all the nutrients that we used to get because crops aren't often there's not as much absorption of nutrients in crops as there used to be. And plus, when you have coronavirus, you often don't have much of an appetite. So I ate what I could. I made sure to eat. I made sure to drink and hydrate. But it wasn't very pleasurable because I didn't have my good senses. And some of you can, relate with that. But this helped a lot with the immune system. The D helps a lot with the immune system fighting it. Turmeric, like I said, helps with the inflammation. The zinc helped with, I don't know exactly, to be honest, but David has a good article on that. But I know it did help with I lost my smell and I lost a sense of taste. And so I know that helped my body replenish the zinc it needed. And the vitamin C also helped boost my immune system. The probiotics just really helped clear out my gut from bacteria or leftover remnants from the virus that were lingering in my gut. It just helped clear me out. I also used our air purifiers. I don't know if you have access to that or not. If you don't, a cheaper alternative is a diffuser. You can find any diffusers like on Amazon or at Walmart or a local store near you. And some of the oils that I used Breathe in my diffuser. This helps with upper respiratory and breathing in general. It was interesting when I lost my smell, I would open this up and I couldn't smell it. It was because this is a potent essential oil, but I would just, even though I couldn't smell, I would just stick my nose in front of the diffuser and deeply inhale and exhale through my nose. And I knew I was getting the benefits even though I couldn't smell it. And the On Guard helps with your immune system. It helps your body fight off viruses and bacteria. It's just good to have in the air to keep the air in your house clean.
Good.
Side note, if you watched my previous video on supplements I'm taking while I'm pregnant, that was just a generic what I was taking in my second trimester, which I'm toward the end of. One thing that I was excited to say is while I had COVID, my body was able to do a reset. So that was a really good thing that happened. I went off all of my caffeine and I went off of this supplement that I had been taking called Thyroid Strong, which I mentioned in a previous video. And my body was able to reset and my adrenal glands got reset because I was able to get plenty of sleep and I went off all caffeine, all stimulants. And so now I actually am not taking this at all anymore and I'm doing well. I am taking coffee again, but only like 50 milligrams a day. So that's a positive thing is you can use this opportunity to reset. So this is called a nebulizer. We ordered ours off of Amazon. These, you do need a prescription. If you can't just go to a drugstore and get one because they make you get a prescription, because oftentimes they assume that you're gonna use this with a prescription drug. But you don't have to use it with a prescription drug. I used it with this. This is Silver Spray. This is a natural antibacterial spray that also helps with viruses. And so what I would do, I bought this nebulizer here. You can also, if you don't have this or if this is not something you can afford at this time, you can use hydrogen peroxide. Just make sure that you get 3% and you want to get the food grade. So like the highest quality available. You don't want any additives added into it. So you'll have to watch out for that. But this is what I used. I took the lid off here and sprayed however much you needed to. It doesn't really have a taste or flavor. It's at least not that I'm aware of, but it does help clear out your lungs. And so David had me doing this. There's a cool setting where there's a cool mist of air, and then there's a warm setting on this one. So I would do this 4 times a day. You just put it up and you breathe. You breathe. You breathe through your nose and your mouth, and it's getting the good antibacterial, antiviral qualities into your lungs. And so that's how I was able to get, because I had all the symptoms. I had upper respiratory symptoms too. So that's how I was able to clear out my upper respiratory very quickly. So yeah, I was able to do this as a pregnant woman. And I did it for 4 times a day, 15 minutes each time. This I didn't pull upstairs. We have a red light therapy in our house, and we have a large unit. I stood in front of this red light 10 minutes in the front and 10 minutes in the back. I took my shirt off, and when I was standing in the front, I stuck my nose up like this so that it would get up in my nose because I had lost my sense of smell. We're gonna put a link up of that, but that is an expensive product. Another thing that's an option for some people is a portable little red light therapy unit, which is much less costly, and that's something you can stick in front of your face, and that's something that can really help on a cellular level. Some of the main things that I did to help me work through my symptoms. For me, in my journey, I had a weird recovery. My first symptoms were the chills, a little bit of achiness and fatigue, and then it got really bad. The fatigue and the achiness got really bad. The fevers didn't get high, they stayed low. And then I turned a corner about a week later, and I was able to get out of bed. I felt so much better, but then all of a sudden the upper respiratory symptoms came, and then I lost my smell. So it was really weird how the process went on for me. So the upper respiratory issues it felt like a head cold or a sinus infection, and that lasted another week. So for me, it was about 2 weeks. One of those weeks I was able to function like normal, and one of those weeks I was in bed mostly and in the bath with the Epsom salts. But like I said, my husband, he had symptoms for 3 days, and then he was fine. And even while he had the mild symptoms, he was still able to work from home just like normal. So it's different for everyone. All right, so I want you to be encouraged that, because a lot of people say if you're pregnant, it's high risk. And I guess it is true, you are higher risk. And I did get it a lot worse than a lot of people that I know. But I don't want you to feel fearful. Listen to your body. Obviously, if you're having symptoms that you need to go into a hospital or urgent care, then obviously listen to your body. But at the same time, I would say don't panic, don't fear. I definitely was able to work through this holistically as a pregnant woman. And my little baby, I just had her ultrasound, and she's doing great. She's healthy, she's strong, and so we survived, and we pray for you and your loved ones that you'll do great too. Be sure to like and subscribe, click the little bell if you want to get notified when the new videos release, and I hope you have a blessed day.